Hi everyone! I thought I'd do another update on various dolls I've done and show you how posable they are. This is a commission I've just finished called, I've nicknamed him Biscuit, and he has the best wings I've made so far, also the most posable ones. They're actually, for the wings I've made, these are quite delicate. I used quite a thin gauge wire. It was this, so that's quite thin. As opposed to Luca, which I used 6 gauge wire for, so that's quite a difference. But because of his size and, well, their comparative sizes, you can kind of see why I use different gauges. So his legs can be bent. Just gently, just hold them at the base. Gently bend them back, forth, left, right if you want. Don't bend them by the toes, because the toes will break. This can be fixed with super glue, but I presume you don't want that to happen. Same goes for the head. Head can be bent forwards and backwards. Don't hold the ears or the horns while you're bending them for the same reason as the toes. They will snap. The horns and the toes do have armatures in them, but they're still delicate. They're still quite flexible. Wings have toothpick bones in them, so they shouldn't break. You can fold them up quite anatomically correctly, if you like. Tail is quite bendy, as you can see. Back legs don't have bones, but generally whatever looks good and whatever keeps them upright is good. I'm going to put him into a sort of proud sitting pose. You see, I'm pushing down the nose with my finger. That's okay to do, and it also puts him in quite a natural pose. Like pushing and pulling the nose is fine. And the metal hasn't been bent with pliers, so there should be no nicks in the metal, which means that metal fatigue won't happen. With the wings, you just take the tip and just pull them out like that. I'll do that again. Just, if they're folded right up like that, just take the tip and pull out like that. You might hear a bit of crackling or ripping or something, but that's just the glue and the feathers sort of shifting around a bit, sort of being stretched. So generally that's okay unless you're about to like rip the wing off, which is quite hard to do. To close them up again, just take the elbow bit and just bend them together and just fold it down, bend together. Really easy to pose, just you have to be a little gentle and just considerate. These are handmade, so they're not perfect, but they're pretty good, pretty stable. So there's Biscuit. Here's a little close-up of his face. And here is Luca. Luca is huge, absolutely massive. But that was because I decided to make him massive because of his character. He's been sitting on my desk all week with the entire class sort of oohing and ahhing over him, being cuddled by about 8 different people. I'm sure he doesn't mind that. Because I used the thicker gauge wire, he's a lot sort of stiffer to bend, but that means that he's also heavier and easier to pose. The same deal for the wings, just pull them out like that. Of course, these wings have fingers on the joints, so you have to be careful when you're bending them not to push down on that, because it will snap. They are very delicate, those bits. Just because it's thin bits of femur. In fact, I think it has snapped a little bit. But with thin joints like that, it's quite common. I think if you just, I don't know if you can see in there, but you can see a little bit of the copper armature that I used. So they won't fall off, but they may get wiggly. But super glue or hot glue will fix that. Just like cover it over, smooth it with your finger a little bit so that you can't see it. Here's the other wing. Just make sure you have the tip and then just pull it out, just gently. They're a lot stiffer than Biscuit's wings. So Luca has a lot of little spikes on his head, so you need to be careful you don't push them when you're moving his head, or else they'll pop off. They also have armatures going in, but you know, better to be safe than sorry. His paws can be moved down and up, and his legs, I think they do have bones, so they can only be posed in anatomically correct positions. But the wrists can be bent anyway, like, they're a lot, they're actually like a lot stiffer than Biscuit. His back legs could also have like toothpick bones in them, so I think actually I might have used wooden dowels for that. But there's his legs. If you want to extend them, just pull and pull. His tail is good and bendy. You can be quite rough with them, really. You know, give it a good shove to get it in the right place and stay in the right place, because otherwise it'll just keep pinging back. If you want to turn his head, just push him with your thumb or your finger. Don't push his ears because they will break off, but you can hold him by the horns and twist him, because they're really quite thick. And I think that's about it. He stands quite well. You have to balance him with his tail, but this is a size reference. This is him directly next to my head. He's massive. I mean, compared to Biscuit. He's Biscuit and Luca. The next doll I'm working on is the Kieran for Sensible, which looks quite exciting, but I think it'll be more sort of Biscuit-sized than Luca-sized. Luca was a bit of an exception, I think. So wings can go back, because they have female joins along there. They can only be pushed so close to each other. You can see there, they can't go much closer than that. That's my fault for designing them wrong. But they can be bent. There's a long thin piece of femur that runs along there, ends in a finger. Can you see that? So you need to be careful when bending that. You can it can withstand a lot of pressure, but just be careful, but not too careful, you know. That's the whole point of this film, to show you that you can manhandle them. I dropped Luca a few times in the studio, and I've bashed him off stuff, and he's fine. I like to do sort of tests to make sure that they won't snap too easily. Obviously not on the delicate parts, but you know. He's really fluffy. Okay, I think I've shown you all I can for now, but I will probably do another one of these once I've finished another doll, of course. So, see you later!